good.
Good.
Oh, I'm looking forward to doing some moving. It's a bit chillier in here, so I'm psyched for this.
It's very cold. Yeah, it's cold.
Is it cold in Lancaster?
Yeah.
I like to think it's the planet cooling down.
Yeah, maybe. I think it doesn't cool down that fast.
I think it probably does. All right, cool.
Is there only you and me? Where is everyone?
No, there is also we've had Jessica join us. Hey Jessica, she's got a camera turned off. Hey, how are you? Are you okay?
So slow.
How are you getting on? Awesome. I'll better start my Instagram. All right, we've just got. Oh, we're on. We're live. All right, guys, welcome on in. We have got 90 seconds to go until our Pilates class. So you're super welcome if you're joining us on Facebook or on Instagram. Thanks for joining. You can also jump over to rise.co.uk/online and jump into our Zoom virtual studio, which means I get to see you. These big screens in front of me. And you can also find our music there, so our Spotify playlists are also there online. So you can also just find our Spotify playlists by just searching Rise and then whatever playlist you fancy. So Flex or Chill or whatever you feel. I always think Flex 2 is the classic for Pilates, but there's everything's on there, so do feel free to have a little play. And you don't really need anything except yourself and your mat. If you know you like to use a brick or a prop or anything, feel free to grab it. You might want to just a strap, so I sometimes like to work with a strap around the ball of the feet or a rolled up towel just to give yourself a bit of extra support under the bum. And that's it really today. So this is Pilates 9. So Pilates 9, we're going to start off in standing. So if you want to come on up and find your way up to standing, we'll get started very soon. So we're going to start off in standing. We're going to come down to a plank-based sequence. So we're going to build up lots of heat in the beginning of class. Then we're going to come to some seated work and down to some abs to finish. All right, so starting off in standing, just thinking about noticing how you stand. So often we stand up, of course, all the time. We don't always think about our posture, so it's really good to practice healthy posture here. So thinking about bringing the soles of the feet down onto the mat, making sure the second toe is facing forwards, outer edge of the feet roughly in line. Noticing if you tend to be heavy on the heels or maybe tend to fall onto the outer edge of the feet, and just see if you can spread the toes out wide and start to find a nice balance through the feet. So thinking about from there engaging the quads, the glutes, the core, and inhaling, feeling the crown of the head reach the sky, shoulders relaxing down the back. Just noticing and finding that sense of length and the breath. So feel the inhale, extend and lift the crown of the head tall. Exhale, letting the shoulders relax. Taking one more breath here, inhaling. Exhaling. And from there, just going to start to feel into the balance. So from here, we're going to just start to float up on the toes. So inhale, floating up on the toes, rising up. Shoulders stay down and relaxed. And exhale, releasing down. So we're just thinking about floating up, keeping the spine long, really focusing on slow, controlled movements to roll up and down. So strong through the core, shoulders are staying relaxed, squeezing the glutes, floating the arms up and releasing down. Just two more. Just starting to warm up, starting to feel that balance. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling down. Nice job. One more time. Just floating up, rising up, and gently softening down. Great job. From there, just taking our little side bend. So we're just going to slowly let the body extend to one side, taking one hand down the side body. We're just taking a lateral stretch. Try not to stick the bum out behind you, coming up through center, and just moving on to the other side. So we're just gently warming up the spine. So we're just thinking about opening out through the side body. We don't always give that much attention to our side body. So trying to keep the shoulders relaxed here. Just feel that bend coming right from the side body. Inhaling through center. Exhaling, finding that little stretch. Awesome stuff. One more time. Just a little lift. And stretch. Perfect. From there, coming back through center, taking the arms out wide. Now we're just moving to twisting to mobilizing the spine. So thinking about finding strength in the legs, strong through the core, opening wide with the hands. Inhale and exhale, opening the body out towards the left, thinking about squeezing in the core, feeling that lovely stretch of the chest, and then returning through center. Inhale and exhale, start to twist. Notice if you start to stick the bum out behind you in the twist, keep the core engaged, the spine long. Inhale, maybe floating up high on the toes if you can, and take a twist high up on the toes, thinking about mobilizing the whole of the spinal chain. Coming back through center, inhale, and exhale, finding that little twist and stretch again. Awesome. From there, coming back through center, releasing the arms down, and from there we're going to move into our little standing sequence. So starting off, we're going to turn side on the mat. The toes are going to face out slightly. So we're going to move into our squats. So we're going to take the fingertips up to the temples, elbows out wide, core is engaged. From there, we're going to sink the hips down behind us, squeezing in the core, making sure the glutes are engaged, the shoulders are moving down the back, and then we're going to power on up. So we're thinking about working into the lower body here. Making sure the hips are sinking out behind you, making sure the knees aren't knocking in. Really feel that squeeze of the core and the glutes. Assist as you lower and lift. Elbows wide. Nice job. So we're lowering down and squeezing to lift. Great job. So working here for 5. So moving with control, squeezing on up. 4. Nice. So sinking down low, squeeze to lift. Really feeling that power in the side body. 3, 2, and we're going to maybe take it a little deeper here. So either staying here, or if you're feeling it, we're going to lift up, take opposite elbow to knee, squeezing, crossing the body, and returning back again. So we're sinking down, lower the hips, and then squeeze the core, use the core to lift, and from there we're rotating through the spine, elbow to knee, really carefully setting that foot down. So working to that squat, squeezing, and we're working this twist. So a twist, we're working into the abdominals, we're working on balance. When you balance, we're stabilizing by engaging the muscles of that standing leg, using the abdominals and the obliques to support that twist, keeping the spine upright, that quad engaged. So really nice, slow, controlled movements. If you want more, maybe taking elbow to knee, and then you can start to extend arm and leg. So opening through the chest, kicking out with that foot. We're staying longer in our balance. We're going to challenge ourselves there. We're thinking about maintaining our stability in the standing leg by grounding down big toe, little toe, heel, and we're opening through the chest. So thinking about finding that same stability that we found when we stood up at the beginning, when we worked on our lovely standing pose. Thinking about that same strength in the legs, we're opening out through the chest. So we're using the core to stabilize here, using the muscles of the legs to stabilize. Of course, balances are also a fantastic way to build concentration or focus. Really useful way to start the day. Often balances are a lot harder in the morning, but it's a great time to take a little balance flow, start to build that focus for the whole of the day. Taking one more little lift, maybe a twist, an extension, and releasing when you're ready. Nice job. Give yourself a little shakeroo. Great stuff. And from there, we're going to move lateral lunge. So we're going to start off in the center of our mat. From there, we're going to step out wide, sinking down. We're sending the hips out behind us. Knees over ankle. We're finding a stretch down the inside of the leg. Chest is lifted, and then coming up through center and just taking that to the other side. So we're stepping out wide. So that step out can be quite a strong movement, as can the movement back through center. So thinking about squeezing in the core, we're stepping out wide. So essentially that step out, we're asking the body to hold a little balance, and same as we move back in, essentially the body has to work hard to stabilize and control that movement. So we're stepping out wide, making sure the hips are coming out behind us, feeling that lovely stretch, and then rising up, planting the foot down. So moving with control, with power. It's quite nice to get the arms involved here, so we bring the arms out in front of us as we step out, and then squeeze the core, lift through center, bring the hands out behind us, working on that long spine. If you want to add in a knee lift, feel free. We're stepping out wide, squeeze, driving knee to chest, and setting that foot down. So we're stepping out wide, squeezing out, and then we're going to drive knee to chest, squeezing in the core, working on balance. If you want to step the foot down halfway between, you can take a little modification by stepping out wide into your lateral lunge and then stepping the foot down in between and then taking a knee drive. So do feel free to take that option if you'd prefer. So we're stepping out wide, driving knee to chest, strong core, and resetting. Awesome stuff. Working here for 5. So moving with control, drive on up, find that power. 4. Great job. So working, finding that stretch. 3. Squeeze on up. 2. And 1. Nice work. Give yourself a little shake out there, a little reset. And from there, we're going to roll straight on down and find our way to plank. So walking the hands and the feet away from each other, finding your way to a plank position. So plank position, make sure the pointer finger is facing forwards. The fingers are spread out really wide. You're pressing as hard as you can with the hands into the mat, making sure the hips aren't drooping, they're not piking. What you're aiming for is one long line from heels to head. Thinking about maybe shuffling the toes back a little bit, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the core, building strength in the whole back body. We're just going to hold here, thinking about lengthening through the back body, working into the abdominals, into the shoulders. Make sure the shoulder blades are coming apart. Working here for 3, 2, and 1. Start to pike the hips, start to walk the hands back towards the feet, and we're finding our way into a floppy forward fold at the back of the mat. You might want to have a little shake out here, a little wiggle out, thinking about the whole of the back body, the whole of the spinal chain extending, and then you're walking the hands back out again. So slow, controlled movement back again, walking the hands forward, strong through the core, finding your way back to a plank, and then back again. So really slow, controlled, squeezy movements. We're just walking from a plank into a floppy forward fold. You don't have to walk all the way to a plank. You can walk more to a down dog movement if you prefer. If you want to make it harder, you can walk the hands past the shoulders and come into an extended plank. A little bit harder, again, quite a strong one for the abs. We're aiming just to build up some heat in the body here. We're aiming to open up, find space in the backs of the legs. We're thinking about lengthening through the whole of the back body and strengthening through the front side of the body. So keeping the core engaged, really pressing hard with the hands into the mat and coming back again. So just taking one more walk forwards. And back again. And then when you're ready, walking all the way forwards. And find your way to a plank position. So bring the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips when you're ready. So great job, looking great at home. Finding your way into a plank table pose, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, squeezing in the core. And from there we're going to move straight into Superman. So we're going to extend opposite hand and foot, squeezing in the core, working to stabilize, and then swapping over. So opposite hand and foot, extend and lengthen, and slowly reset. Thinking about the core staying engaged, the spine staying long, extend, and slowly reset. Option to add in an elbow to knee drive, so extending, and drive knee to nose, extend, and reset. So when you're extending, feel not just that you're lifting the foot, but you're squeezing the glutes to extend. You're driving knee to chest, working the core, extending again. So we're working on balance here, as well as building strength. So thinking about that lovely extension, squeeze and drive, squeeze and reset. Of course, if you want to take this further, do rock up and find your way into a plank. Hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to extend out with one hand, one foot, and with the other hand, the other foot. Of course, you can also take that into a knee drive if you're feeling it. It's quite a difficult movement, so just work at your level, moving with control, maybe taking that extension, maybe a knee drive, maybe extending again. So any variations, whatever feels like your pose this morning is fine. Focus on control, focus on that spine staying long, making sure the shoulder blades aren't drooping down. Great job. Working here for just another 3, won't be here too much longer. 2, almost there, and 1. Find your way to kneeling there. So we're just going to drop the hips to the heels and find our way to kneeling. So hips to heels. We're going to take the palms to the knees, strong through the core. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale, lift up, squeeze the glutes, open out with the chest, drawing the shoulders back, squeeze, and then slowly return back through center. So we're taking a hip thrust here. We're opening up through the whole front side of the body. We're mobilizing through the chest, squeeze the glutes, and slowly return back through center. So slow, controlled movement, squeeze, 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 lift, open up through the chest, and back again. Great job. So just thinking about working here for another 3. So squeeze on up, find that space, work into the glutes, use the abs to control that movement back. 2. Great job, almost there. Squeeze and lift and power, open up. And 1, release, perfect. From here, we're going to find our way to a forearm plank. So we're going to find our way down to a forearm plank. So elbows are underneath the shoulders and the toes are back. So if you find a forearm plank quite difficult, find your forearm plank, so one long line, and then drop the knees down. So the knees are behind the hips, they're down on the floor, and that's a great alternative. So you're still holding that body in that ski slope position, so the knees are quite a way back from the hips, the toes are grounded. That's a great alternative. So if you're holding your forearm plank, what we're going to do is we're going to drop the knees down, and then we're going to lift the knees back up again. So it's a sneakily difficult one. Elbows under shoulders. We're dropping the knees down with control, lifting back up again, strong through the core. You can also take one knee at a time if you prefer. So we're bringing one knee down, the other knee down, one foot back, other foot back. So either both knees or one knee at a time. Really strong one for the core. We're thinking about working into the shoulders. Elbows press really hard into the mat. So just a little knee drop. Fun little forearm exercise. We're thinking about control through the core. That one's definitely starting to fire. So either just holding your kneeling forearm plank, holding your full forearm plank, maybe dropping one knee down at a time, the other knee down, and maybe taking doubles. Remember, keeping the spine long is the aim of the game here. Just going to be here for another 5. So slow and controlled. 4. Really squeezing in the abs. 3, 2, and 1. Dropping the hips all the way down to the floor. Just take a nice little back bend there. So elbows underneath the shoulders. Thinking about inhaling, reaching the chest through the arms, stretching out through the lumbar spine. Inhale. Exhale. So nice little stretch. Just going to be here for another 3. Deep breaths in. And out. 2. And 1. Hands under the shoulders. Pressing back up to a table pose. So here we're going to move into just one final little plank exercise, finding our way to a bolt. So hands under the shoulders, finding your way to a plank. From there we're going to send hips to heels, taking this little crouching panther plank. So sending hips to heels, take a little pulse, and then rock forwards, find our way to plank. So little panther crawl back, so knees are hovering an inch or so off the mat. Feel the quads fire up, and then we're rolling forwards into a plank. If you want to take it further, we're going to send the hips backwards, strong through the core, and then drive knee to nose, working into the abdominals. So hips move back, knees move back, and then squeeze, driving knee to nose, working into the abdominals. So really strong, controlled movements, really feeling that power in the legs, squeeze, working here for 5. So slow and controlled. Squeezing in the core. 4, remember you don't have to take that knee drive. Keep the hands pressing really hard into the mat. Squeezy, squeezy movements. 3, drive knee to chest. 2, and 1, dropping to the knees there. From there we're going to take a quick little stretch. We're going to take the left foot outside the left hand. Make sure the left knee is over left ankle, and then maybe slide that right foot back. Inhale, reaching up, and we're finding our way into a low lunge. So we're thinking about drawing the left foot backwards and the right hip forwards. So we're aiming to find a stretch down the front right side of the leg. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, maybe letting the pelvis drop forwards a little, shoulders down the back. Just taking one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. From there, plant the right hand down and inhale the left hand up to the sky. So you're finding a bit of a stretch down the outside of the left leg, and we're opening up through the chest. Deep breath in and out. So lovely stretch there. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. And reset. So we're finding our way back to table. And we're just taking that on the other side. So we're taking your right foot outside your right hand. Make sure that knee is over ankle. Maybe start to slide the left foot knee back if that feels comfortable. From there, we are either staying there, or if you're feeling it, we're thinking about inhaling, reaching up, stretching up, drawing the right foot backwards, the left knee forwards, inhaling. Exhaling, so stretching into that left hip flexor, that left quad for 3. Just reaching up, stretching up. 2. Perfect. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Left hand is going to plant there. Inhale. The right hand reaches up to the sky, opening out through the chest. Find that little stretch down the outside of the right leg. Inhaling. And exhale. Yawning and stretching the body open for 3. Deep breaths in. And out. 2. And 1. Come back to table. And swing both legs out in front of you. So finding a soft bend in the knees, just going to move into a forward fold. So we're going to take the left leg out, right foot is going to come into the left inner thigh. Taking a bend in that left leg if you need to, maybe shimmying back onto the sit bones if you need to. Inhale, reaching up, angling the body over that left leg and starting to take a little forward fold. So we're thinking about drawing both shoulders in line, thinking about grounding the hips. Inhale, moving the body weight long forward, stretching forwards and releasing. So if you're feeling really tight today, you might take a bend in that left knee, or if you are feeling more flexible, you might be able to move forwards a little more comfortably. Inhaling, stretching long. Exhaling, releasing the shoulders, the head down. So we're aiming to find space in the hamstrings and the lower back. Really important part of the body to stretch out for lumbar spine health. We'll just be here for another 3. Inhale. So feel that inhale, extend and lengthen the spine. Exhale, releasing down. 2. 1 more deep breath in. And out. From there, rolling up, reaching tall. Inhale and exhale. Twist. Take your left hand to your right knee, your right hand up behind you. Twisting around, flexing that right foot. Deep breath in. And out. Twist for 3. So really reach and extend. Twisting around. 2. And 1, coming back through center. Swapping over then, right foot out, left foot comes in. Inhale, once again, we're going to reach up, angle the body over that right leg, and from there, take a forward fold. Thinking about drawing both shoulders in line, maybe drawing that right hip back. Inhale. And exhaling, stretching out. Nice job. So we're just slowly extending and lengthening into the hamstrings, into the lower back. Perfect, nice job. Inhaling. Exhaling, taking any variation that works for you. Perfect. Just going to be here for another 3. Inhaling, reaching, lengthening out. Trying to relax into that hamstring. Shoulders release. 2. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. And rise on up there. Inhale, reaching tall. And exhale, take your twist. Right hand to left knee, left hand out behind you, strong through the core. Taking that lovely twist and rotation through the spine. Stretching up for 3. Inhale. And exhale, drawing space. Feeling that lovely release with the shoulders. 2. And 1. Returning back through center. Nice job. From there, we're going to plant the feet out in front of us. Take the hands out behind us so the fingertips are facing the front of the room. And then we're going to power up, squeeze the glutes, lift on up, finding reverse table. So we're opening out through the front side of the body. And then we're going to slowly lower and squeeze, power on up, lift on up, feeling that power in the back body. So option just to stay there, lowering and lifting the hips. Really squeeze to power up. If you want more, we're going to drop the hips through the hands and then power on up, squeeze on up. So we're taking an L sit to reverse table. So squeezing the glutes to lift, chin to chest, drawing the shoulders back, reaching back, and then powering on up, lifting on up, squeezing at the top. So option to stay there. Remember, you're using the core to lift those hips off the mat as well as the hands really pressing up, reaching up, or you can just work that reverse table. Entirely up to you. We're thinking about strengthening out through the core, through the arms, through the legs. Great job. Working here for 3. So slow, controlled movements. 2. And 1. Releasing there. Great job. Double leg forward fold now. So shimmying the sit bones out behind you. Inhale, reaching up, lifting up, angling the body forward. and take that little forward fold. So we're thinking about moving the body weight long out in front of you. So slightly different from our hamstring stretch with one leg out, we're getting more into the lower back here. So thinking about grounding down with the sit bones, inhale, reaching forwards, lengthening forwards. Exhale, just start to soften and relax. Deep lengthening breaths, opening up space in the lower back, in the hamstrings. Won't be here too long, just going to be here for another 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. Lovely deep breaths, really slowing down the breath. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. And rolling on up there. All right, so one more seated exercise working on flexibility and mobility. We're going to take our saw, so we're going to take the feet out wide. Remember, if you need to sit up on a brick, feel free. Thinking about flexing the feet, finding lift through the spine. So make sure this lower back isn't collapsing. If you need to modify, feel free. If you need to take a bend in the knees or bring the soles of the feet together, rock on. From there, we're going to take the arms out wide, squeeze the core to inhale, and exhale, taking opposite hand to knee, foot, inhale, lift. Exhale, working that twist. So one of my favorite exercises for building strength and flexibility. We're inhaling and exhaling, stretching. So we're finding space in the side body, keeping the foot flexed, maybe a little lift of the quads. That's going to help us get into the hamstrings. We're mobilizing through the lower back, opening out through the hips, keeping the chest wide, getting some strengthening work for the upper body as well. So working here, inhaling through center, exhaling to twist for 5. Really lift up through center, squeeze and twist 4. So long spine, working the side body. 3. Perfect. 2. 1 more on each side. So lift up, stretch up, twist and rotate, and release there. Nice work. So from there, we're going to plant the feet down, and we're going to move into our little sit-up series. So we're going to start off, we're going to roll all the way down to lie on our backs, lower back on the floor, giving yourself a little hug in with the knees. So a little squeeze in there, and from there, we're going to work straight into our pelvic roll. So hands can be down by the sides, over the head. We're squeezing the abs to lift the pelvis off the mat, slowly resetting, using abdominal strength, using for control. So squeezing the abs to lift the pelvis off the mat as slowly with as much control as you can, and then very, very slowly resetting, moving back down. So you want to focus on the contraction of the abdominals, lifting the pelvis off the mat, and then slowly releasing down. So squeezing to lift, slow, controlled lower, shoulders are staying relaxed. We're really focusing on pure abdominal engagement here. So this is all about that squeeze of the core. So you're using that squeeze of the core to lift the whole weight of the lower body and to lower it. Try not to swing the legs, but feel it's that contraction of the abs, such an important part of the body to strengthen for lower back health. Option to stay there, option to plant the hands down. We're going to squeeze the core to lift and then extend the legs, and then slowly return the pelvis to center with extended legs. From there, heels can come back into bum squeeze, extend at the top, slow return. So that's another option there. If you want to make it harder again, we're going to squeeze, lower the pelvis back to the floor with extended legs, and then add in a double leg lower. So extending the legs and then driving knees back into chest, squeeze to lift, extend, and take a double leg lower. So working strong into the core, thinking about squeezing to lift, extend, and then lowering with control, making sure that lower back stays on the floor, making sure the shoulders are relaxed, thinking about the core staying engaged. Great job. So squeezy lift, extend, maybe a double leg lower. Perfect. Working at your pace, finding that flow for 5. So with control, squeeze. 4. Nice job. 3. Well done. 2. And 1. Give yourself a little squeeze there, a little rock and roll. And then from there, we're going to plant the feet down on the floor. Knees are in the air, back of the neck is long. From there, we're going to take chin to chest, Squeeze the core, keeping the chin to the chest. If you need to take the hands behind the back of the head for support here, feel free. And we're just going to pulse. We're going to take little pulses. So either squeezing in the core, hands can be on the thighs, maybe reaching out in front of you. Or if you prefer taking the hands behind the back of the head, what we're going to do is going to keep the chin to the chest, keep the shoulders off the mat if we can, and we're just going to focus on little micro contractions there. So thinking about squeezing in the core, thinking about that control. So it's just that little contraction and release. So the lower back is on the floor, the neck's not doing any of the work here. It should really start to burn. My abs are definitely starting to say hello. So we're thinking about those little contractions. So Pilates is a lot about micro movements. So we do work bigger movements in Pilates, but it's really nice to kind of get involved in these little micro movements, really strong, really controlled. So hands behind the back of the head, on the thighs, out in front of you, and we're going to be here for another 10. So squeeze, contract, 9, 8, really turning those abs on, making them work hard at the highest bit of intensity, 7, 6, almost there, 5, 4, 3, squeeze, 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 2, and 1. Ooh, releasing there, nice job. Give your legs a little windscreen wiper from side to side, a little stretch, a little wiggle. Awesome stuff. So from there, we're just going to take one fun little element of this little flow. We're going to take the knees over the hips, lower back is on the floor, shoulders are relaxed. So we're going to take leg lowers now. So option 1, we're just going to slowly tap one toe down, draw knee in line with knee, slowly tap the other toe down, thinking about the lower back staying on the floor, thinking about moving with control. If you want to make it harder, we're going to tap both toes down, squeezing the core to lift back up. So again, we're taking this almost crunching movement with the body. We're this time moving the legs back up towards the torso, very similar to that pelvic roll. What you want to do here is really focus on the lower back staying on the floor. The abs are switched on. Really slow, really controlled. So if it feels easy, slow it down. Make it as slow as you can. And squeeze, lift. So it's really slow, really controlled. So how we make this harder is by extending the legs. So if you tap the toes further from the body, you increase the lever length, and that's going to make it harder to keep the lower back on the floor. The other way you can make it harder is by slowing it right down, so squeezing to lift and lower. So this little section, as you probably noticed, is targeting the lower abdominals. This is our deepest layer of abdominals, really important stabilizer muscles for the lower back, really strong. So we've worked the upper abdominals and the side body in our standing and plank sequence. Now we're really targeting those lower abs. We're going to take a little break after this and work into glutes. We're just going to be here for another 5. Really focus on that squeeze. Don't feel like you're lifting and lowering the legs. Find that contraction through the abs. 4. Well done. 3. So lowers and lifts. 2. And 1. Great job. Give yourself a little squeeze in. Perfect. From there, we're just going to take a quick little stretch. You take your left ankle to the right knee and take the hands through behind the back of that right leg or all the way to the right shin, finding that lovely stretch down the back of the left leg. Shoulders are relaxed, spine is lengthening, inhaling. Exhaling there, so finding that big deep stretch right down through the back of the left leg. The shoulders are relaxing, inhaling and exhaling. Well done. Working here for 3. Deep breaths in. And so softening down with the shoulders, finding space. 2. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. And swapping over there. We're going to take our right ankle to the left knee and taking that little stretch on the other side. So nice big stretch right down through the back of the left leg. Inhaling and exhaling. Beautiful big deep stretch. Shoulders are relaxing, spine is long. Inhale and exhale. So stretching in there. Shoulders relaxing, spine long. Steady breath for 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. Taking 1 more in, deep breath in. And And releasing there. Bringing the soles of the feet together and taking the palms down by the sides. We're going to take froggy bridge pulses. So make sure the feet are comfortable distance from the hips. We're going to squeeze the glutes to lift up and slowly lower down using the core. So we're aiming to get into the glutes here. So squeezy lift, power up, lifting up, slow lower. We're getting a nice opening through the hips as well. So shoulders are relaxed. We're squeezing to power up, lift up, slow, 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 rolling down again. So just think about that power, that squeeze on the way up, slow, lower down, getting into the glutes, thinking about finding that strength through the back body and through the core to lower. Perfect. So we're just going to work here for 5. So squeeze in and up, slow, controlled, lower. 4. Really powering up, lifting up, find that burn. 3. Great job. 2. And 1. Release there. Give yourself a little squeeze, a little stretch. Perfect. And from there, we're just going to extend the left leg out, hug in with the right knee, take the left hand to the right knee, draw the right knee across the body, and extend the right arm away. So we're finding a little half spinal twist. Right hand and right knee move long away from each other, stretching out. Inhale. And exhale, let that right shoulder release down to the mat. Find that space through the outside of the right leg for 3. Inhale. Exhale, so we're opening out through the chest, through the outside of the right leg. 2. 1 more breath in. And out. Swapping over. Right leg extends, hug in with the left knee. Inhale. And exhale, we're taking that twist. Right hand to left knee. Left hand is extending away, stretching out. Deep breaths in. And out, so releasing that left shoulder down, finding that lovely stretch down the outside of the left leg for 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. 1 more deep breath in. And out. From there, we've got 1 more little bridge exercise, and then we're going to come down to final lower ab sequence. Planting the feet down on the floor, shoulders are relaxed, squeezing the glutes to lift the pelvis off the mat. So we're using the glutes to support. If you need to stay there, feel free. If you can lift one heel up, set it down, lift the other heel up, set it down. Option to stay there. Option to lift knee into chest, squeeze the core, and then reset. Lifting the other knee into the chest, squeeze and reset. Aiming to keep the hips high. We're thinking about squeezing in the core, working into the glutes, keeping the back of the body long, really focusing on power there, finding that energy in the back body, that strength in the core. Trying to stabilize, remember back of the neck is long. Perfect. So squeezy lift, strong core, reset, and lower. Powerful through the back body. Great job, looking good. Working here for 5, so working into the glutes or the quads. The body's working really hard to stabilize as we drive knee into chest. Really important to build strength in the lower body, in the quads, in the glutes, as well as in the abs to support healthy spine. 3, almost there. 2, 1 more. And reset, slowly lower down. And from there, give yourself a little squeeze in, a little stretch in. From there, we're going to keep the lower back on the floor as we extend the legs up towards the sky. Shoulders are relaxed, back of the neck is long, and we're going to take little flutter legs. So we're going to flutter the legs down like we're swimming, and then flutter them back up again. So we're just going to work here, fluttering the legs up and down, making sure the lower back stays on the floor. If you want to take a supported leg lower instead, planting 1 foot down and lowering and lifting the other leg, and then swapping over, you're very welcome to. You could also have 1 leg in the sky and lower and lift the other. So do feel free to modify if you need to. So we can take a basic leg lower, a supported leg lower, or if you can, we're going to take these little swimming legs. So we're squeezing in the core. Taking these little micro movements really works the abs hard. You only have to lower in the legs, lift the legs as far as feels good. You could just be fluttering them out in the sky. You could just be fluttering them down a little way and back up again. The closer you come to the floor, the harder it's going to be for the abs to support that stability through the spine. Remember, you want the lower back to stay on the floor. Use that as a guide. When the lower back starts to arch away from the floor, that's when we start to use and strain, potentially strain the back muscles rather than access the lower back abdominals. Working here for another 10. with control. 9, slow and controlled. Nice way to mobilize. 8, strong core. 7, almost there. 6, 5, hang on in there. 4, 3, strong. 2, and 1, hug on in. Great stuff. Give yourself a little squeeze. And from there, taking the arms out wide, knees over hips, lower back on the floor. We're going to take a dynamic twist, so working into the obliques, into the lower abs, slowly lowering the legs to one side, squeezing to come back through center. Make sure the lower back is on the floor, the shoulders are relaxed, and we're lowering to the other side. So make sure the chest feels like it's opening. You're really focusing on power here, squeezing in the core, lifting up and over. So finding that lovely sense of stretching through the chest as we work the side body. If you want to make it harder, the legs can extend. Slow it down as well. So the slower you go, the harder the work. We're lifting up and over. If that's too much, you can drop the heels right into the bum or release or decrease the range of motion. So just work at your level. So legs can be straight or bent. Slowly lowering from one side, squeezing the core to come back up through center. Awesome stuff. So very close to the end now. Hang on in here. Just one more little exercise after this. We're just going to be here for another 5. So slow and controlled, squeezing up and over. 4. Great job. 3. 2. And 1. Nice work. All right, from there, we're just going to give ourselves a final little squeeze, a final little stretch. And from there, we are going to take a little rock and roll. So if you rock up to seated, we're going to take the hands behind the knees, chest is lifted, and we're just going to rock up and down, squeezing in the core, using the core to support that balance. If you want to release the arms, and you could just use the core to hold, feel free. So we're using momentum, and then we're using the core to stop that momentum. So rocking up and squeezing to lift. If you want to make it harder, the legs can extend a little bit harder again to hold that balance. You could also take the hands over the head, take it into a full hollow body rocker. So we're squeezing in the core. So any variations, bending the knees, hands can be forwards. That's going to make it easier. Holding around the backs of the legs is going to be easier again. If you want to take hands over the head or extend the legs or both, that's going to help. What we're aiming to do is squeeze, balance at the top, rock back, and then squeeze, balance at the top, really using those abs to support that balance on the tailbone. Great job. Working here for 5. So slow and controlled, final little exercise, chin to chest, 4. Great job, 3. Squeezy movements, 2. And 1, well done. Rolling all the way down there. Give yourself a little squeeze. Great job. Taking the hands to the knees. Draw some lovely big sweeping circles with the knees. Away from each other. And towards each other. And then from there, taking a happy baby. So taking the peace sign fingers around the big toes. Knees in towards the armpits. Pressing the whole of the lower back down towards the floor. Thinking about finding space through the hips, soles of the feet to the sky, shoulders are relaxing, inhaling and exhaling. So a lovely big deep stretch down the hips, steady flow with the breath in and out. Well done. Just going to be here for another 3. So lovely deep breaths in and out. Shoulders are relaxing. 2. 1 more breath in and out. From there, simply bring the soles of the feet together, having a little play with whether you want the feet closer or further from the hips. Hands can be on the tummy or over the head. Have a little play, find a position that feels good for you. And then we're just letting the shoulders relax, the spine be long, closing the eyes and breathe. Really deep, full breaths into the lower belly, into the hips, into the chest. Letting the shoulders relax down. Maybe feeling the eyes and the face and the jaw soften. I'm just going to be here for another 3. Inhale. Exhale, full steady breaths. 2. One more deep breath in. And from there, bringing the hands to the outer edges of the knees, drawing the knees together, lifting the knees up over the chest, palms out wide, and letting both knees fall to one side. So we're taking a double leg spinal twist, stacking hip over hip. So notice if that top knee has started to creep backwards. See if you can stack it over, or wrap the legs around each other, maybe turning the gaze away from the knees. So you find this lovely release through the spine. Just stretching out through the spine and through the chest. Inhaling. Exhaling for 3. Deep breath in. And out 2. And 1. Coming back through center. Lifting up with the knees and letting the knees fall to the side. Maybe starting to stack knee over knee. Maybe turning the gaze away. Stretching out. Inhaling. And exhaling. Full steady breaths into the spine, into the chest. For 3. Deep breaths in. And out. Shoulders relaxing. 2. 1 more inhale. And exhale. From there, coming through center, giving your final self a final little squeeze and stretch. And then rocking up to seated from there. Taking our final few little stretches, finding the sit bones rounding. We're going to interlock the hands, turn the palms up to the sky. Inhale, stretching up. So we're thinking about releasing through the side body. Inhale, lift, lift, lift. And exhale, take chin to chest, pressing the backs of the hands towards the front of the room, drawing the shoulders down and apart, really focusing and opening and lengthening out through the upper back. Deep breath in. And taking the hands behind you there, interlocking the hands behind you, inhale, and exhale, taking both hands over to the left hip, lifting up, and then dropping the left ear down towards that left shoulder. So you should be feeling a lovely stretch down the right side of the neck and through the right shoulder. Taking a deep, full inhale, exhale, and then coming through center, inhale, reaching the hands up behind you, and exhale, take the hands over to the right hip and dropping the right ear down towards the right hip. So again, we're finding that lovely sense of space down the left side of the chest. Inhaling, exhale, and releasing there. From there, inhale, reach up to the sky, stretching up, and exhale the hands back to heart center. Taking a final really deep, full breath in, and have an awesome rest of your day. Thanks for joining, everyone. Namaste. Great job. Well done at home. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
That was
you.
really good.
Oh, cheers. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.
You too.
Thank you.